Welcome to all our viewers around the world. I'm Charles Sciangula, and I'm your host for the Live4Live Entertainment Talk Show. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a great lineup for you tonight. We have a very funny, brilliant comedian actor with us, and he goes by the name of Massimo. We're here with us tonight. And we also have a very young, fine, talented young lady, female singer. Her name is Rosemary La Posta. She is great. She's got a beautiful voice. She will be doing the interview with us here tonight. And we have the much-awaited, the cake boss, Les Délices Lafrenais, Mr. Joseph Ruvo with us here tonight. He will be co-hosting, and we will have an interview with one-on-one with Mr. Joseph Ruvo from Les Délices Lafrenais. And we have a special cause tonight that we'd like to extend a little bit of communication for them. And there's a Mr. Carmelo Tortolano who is here with us tonight. And on September 28th, it will be the Masquerade Ball Fight for Cancer. He will be with us here tonight, and we will try to lend a hand in trying to raise some funds for that particular cause. So ladies and gentlemen, wait, because we have the segments of the day, which are quotes of the week. And tonight we have Miss Marilyn Monroe. She has made some of the greatest quotes, and we will be doing that tonight with our co-host, Mr. Joe Ruvo. So ladies and gentlemen, we've got a great show for you tonight. Just sit back and we'll be back.
The Live4Live Entertainment Talk Show is brought to you by the following sponsors: Mercedes-Benz Montréal-Est, Méga Centre Groupe, Les Délices Lafrenais, Assistance Ticket, Tyron Renovations, Kitchen 73 RDP, Remax Real Estate Joe Magri, and SME Sécurité. And now presenting the quotes of the week, brought to you by Kitchen 73.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And now we're going to go to a special segment. Because last week we had such a great reaction on the quotes of the week, we decided this week that we're going to go a little deeper into all of this. Joe, basically, quote of the week. Are you familiar with Marilyn Monroe, Joe?
Yes, of course.
Okay. How old are you?
33.
Okay. For all you guys out there his age, Marilyn Monroe was the sex symbol in the 60s, and very beautiful lady, of course. And she's got a great history. And we decided to do some of the greatest quotes of Marilyn Monroe. And I just want to share this with all the audience out there. So Joe, you tell me, give me your take on some of the quotes, all right? And if there's anything you like, you let me. If you don't like it, we'll throw it out. That's okay. So first quote of Marilyn Monroe: everything I have is mine. Well, what she's trying to say is that all her body, it's all natural. There's nothing fake, Joe. Now, is there anything fake in cake artistry? It's not fake. It's real stuff,
real
right?
stuff,
Okay.
yeah, exactly.
All right. That's the first one. Second one. I've spent most of my life running away from myself. We all know she had some issues in life, obviously, and she always was struggling with, you know, her own issues. And I think that's why she was saying, I've spent most of my life running away from myself. And that's the second one. Okay. A wise girl kisses but doesn't love, listens but doesn't believe, and leaves before she is left, by Marilyn Monroe. I like this one. This one I like. In other words, she's saying, you know, before you leave me, I'm going to leave you. Exactly. There we go. Okay. The next one. Take me as I am, or watch my... Oh, sorry. Take me as I am, or watch me as I go. In other words, take it or leave it. That's what she's trying to say, Joe.
Yeah.
Okay. The next quote of the week. I don't need a king, because I'm already the queen. This one, Joe, is well said, because she was a queen in her own ways. Then we have, when it comes down to it, I let them think what they want. If they care enough to bother with what I do, then I'm already better than them anyway. In other words, she's trying to tell everybody, I'm better than you. What do you think, Joe?
Nah, I'm not too crazy.
That's too crazy? Okay, so this one, all right, there, this one we throw. Okay, all right. So that was the last one. Okay, those are the quote segments of the week, and we had Marilyn Monroe as a feature. So ladies and gentlemen, we will be back after this commercial break. Thank you. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Charles Sciangula. I'm your host for tonight for the Live4Live Entertainment Talk Show. And ladies and gentlemen, tonight we've got a special co-host guest, the much-awaited cake boss of Quebec. We have with us, and I'm proud to have him here with us, ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Mr. Joe Rouveau from Les Délices Lafresnaye. Joseph, welcome. It took a while, but we got you here. Make yourself comfortable. Joseph, now you've got a viewing audience. To everybody who was asking me, who's the cake boss of Quebec, now you know who it is. Now you've got a close-up of him. Joseph, thank you very much for coming.
No problem. My pleasure to be here.
And I just want you to know that the community at large is very, very supportive of Les Délices Lafresnaye. You guys have been very supportive of different activities and sponsoring. And I just want to give kudos to Miss Louisa Miniaci for the PKD, Polycystic Foundation. Let's end this type of disease. And once again, I went out there and we saw Les Délices Lafresnaye, and everybody was eating your food, Joseph.
Thank you very much.
There you go. Joseph, you know that this is the first time you do this, right, if I understand?
Yes, exactly.
So to all the viewing audience, he's a little humble tonight, but he's a fine gentleman. Joseph, you know, Les Délices Lafresnaye is now an institution in the East End, and maybe you can give us, how long has Les Délices Lafresnaye been in business?
Well, we started off in, well, it was not myself, my dad and his brother started in 1979 with a typical small Italian bakery on Jean Talon. And over the years, things kept evolving and growing, and now we find ourselves in the industrial park in St. Leonard, and we're up to 5 locations, and ours being the mother house, we're 6 locations in the whole greater Montreal area, the South Shore, and all the way up north until Rosemary.
Now, you've opened multiple locations, is that correct?
Yes.
These multiple locations, is head office, quote unquote, in St. Leonard, and you distribute your products into the other different locations?
Yeah. Trucks leave daily every morning from St. Leonard. Everything is made, baked in-house, the original location in St. Leonard. And trucks leave, like I said, every morning from as of 6 a.m. Throughout the day, we'll go back and forth to all 5 locations, depending on the quantity of things they need.
So you employ quite a few people. How many people do you actually employ in total?
It's a funny thing. Today, actually, I had a meeting with someone, and we're exactly 52 employees in St. Leonard.
Well, kudos and congratulations to all the families, starting from the top, the patriarch, your dad, your uncles. I think you've built a great business, and the community at large, Italians, English, French, everybody in the city knows Lafresnaye, and I'm very impressed by the community work that you've done here in Montreal, and I just want to give you, I want to thank everybody on their behalf as well to Les Délices Lafresnaye.
Thank you. We always try and stay involved in the community, whichever the cause. I can actually say I don't really remember any time we've said no over the years. It's just the way I was brought up, now being the face in the front that deals with most of the clients. I always do my best to help out whichever cause we can, be it a lot of times bake sales, gift certificates, or anything else that we can do.
I can't forget Pepe. That's your uncle, right?
That's my uncle.
Pepe, if you're watching, top notch. You helped us out for the Motown concert, the Valentines. Thank you very much. top notch, the family, great family run operation, true professionals. If you want the real stuff, they can bake it for you. So before we get into some other stuff, because we're going to do a one-on-one on the interview, we're going to go to a commercial break, and we're going to have our first guest. And we're going to test your skills as a co-host, other than being a cake boss. But we'll get to that after, all right? And we're just going to go to a commercial break, and we'll be back. So everybody stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And now tonight, we've got a fine gentleman in the house. He is a true comedian, brilliant / actor. He's from Montreal, he's Italian. He has performed with Sugar Sammy. He has performed in Edinburgh, Scotland, in different festivals. And we have a brilliant actor with us tonight. I'd like you to introduce, ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Mr. Massimo.
Hello. Hey.
Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah, I got a
Massimo.
Donkey Kong shirt. I dress like a 16-year-old boy. You know what I mean? This is my look.
Massimo, I spoke to you over the phone. I listened to some of your clips on YouTube. I just had to have you.
Nice. I like it. I'm a little intimidated that you put it that way, that you had to have me.
I just had to have you.
Yeah,
You know when you got to have something?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well,
slice of cake, bottle of booze, whatever it is.
There you go.
Yeah,
there you go. This is PG, by the way. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I wasn't gonna tell the stories about when I have a bottle of booze. I was just
there you go. There you
enjoy
go.
a little drink from time to time.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah, release
So do
the
I.
stress.
So do I. Let me ask you something.
Ask me.
Okay. I'll ask you a quick question. When did you start comedy? I've asked this question to everybody.
Right.
I'm always curious. When did you know that you wanted to be a comedian?
Pretty like a lot of people be like, when I was 3 years old, and I think that's usually a lie. But definitely when I was like 15 or so.
Okay.
But I started like when I was 23 because when I was 15, I didn't really know how to write a joke.
What is it? Was it your parents that told you, listen, you're being too much of a smartass, and they because you were always sarcastic, or is it just you created the
Are you saying did my parents tell me that I should become a comic? Because my parents are Italian immigrants. They cried when I told them I was going to become a comic.
Okay.
So
I saw your clip on YouTube about women.
Yeah. I talk about the ladies from time to time.
Yes.
I do terrible with the ladies.
Why do you do terrible with the ladies?
I do pretty bad with the chicks. You know what I mean?
Why? Why the chicks?
I think I do bad with the chicks. I don't obviously I know it's me. You know what I mean? I'm not one of those idiots that doesn't know that it's him. Like I know I'm the problem. I don't know. Maybe I just don't know how to approach a chick, or I don't know what a chick. Well, maybe one of the problems I have with chicks is I keep on calling them chicks. You know what I mean? Maybe if I stop calling chicks, I'd pick up more broads. But who knows with these dames? You know what I'm saying? It's tough. It's tough being a man in the 2000s.
2000.
Yeah. It's pretty cold out there, bro.
Okay.
How do you do, bro, with the chicks? You do all right?
I'm married, so.
You're married. Okay, so you did pretty good with one at least. Yeah. No, I'm single. The girls they don't like me, bro.
Okay, I'm just gonna ask you something, Joseph. Your mic, you're gonna have to turn it on because I think it's off.
Oh, is it off?
There's a button right there
Bro,
where it says the green light has to come on. There we go. Is the green light on?
No, you want me to do it, bro? Me, I'm a professional.
Yeah, he's a
bro.
pro. There we go.
Oh, it is.
There, it should be good.
Yeah, it is on.
It is on? There you go. We got it.
We got it.
So
We are
hold on a
live
second.
with sound.
Hold on a second. Now, with chicks,
women, bro, don't be disrespectful.
I do apologize. Yes, absolutely. So, are you part of this politically correct movement with?
I'm not, I will be politically correct, I will use the proper terms or whatever that people tell me I should use. I'm not super politically correct. You know, sometimes I say things I get in trouble for. I believe, you know, if a joke is funny, it's funny.
Okay.
You know, sometimes I think people forget that it's a joke. Sometimes, I think most of the time when people get offended, I think they get offended. You know, like most people say it's because they're too sensitive. I don't think it's because they're sensitive. Obviously they are, but I don't think that. I think it's just they don't have a sense of humor. Like they don't get a joke.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I remember back in the day when I used to work as a bartender. I used to work at like a event place. You know,
and you were serving
alcohol.
Alcohol.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Were there a lot of?
What do you think bartenders
were there a lot of?
Just serve water?
Were there a lot of?
Chicks. Yeah. There was, you know, people came. It wasn't just me alone in a room. When I say bartender, I don't mean just I'm at home just drinking alone and going, I'm a bartender, it's all right. But I remember I was working at a place and, you know, during the dinner, you know, it was like wine service. So there was like 2 bartenders. So since it's a little slower at the bar, one of us would go and do wine service. And then the manager's like, take these 2 new people and show them about the wine service. And then I show them the wine. I'm gonna go, here's red and white. And the guy's like, is these the only wines we have? And I'm like, yeah, just these 2 wines. And they're fine. And it's a stupid joke I always do whenever there's a wine with a screw top cap. Like when you can tell they're really fancy wines because of the screw top cap.
Right.
And he's like, that's not fancy. I'm like, yeah, that's called sarcasm, what I was doing, right?
Okay. So, and they don't get it, right?
They don't have a sense of humor. Like, obviously, I wasn't talking about anything offensive, but that guy who has no sense of humor, if you talk about a little bit of a sensitive subject, he's going to get angry and say that's wrong. But it's not wrong because he thinks it's wrong. He just doesn't get the joke. I think sometimes people say it's wrong to say that, but what they really mean is, I'm dumb and I didn't get the joke. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen.
I think this will work a lot better, my jokes, if there was a live audience, bro.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Get some
we're
people
getting
over
there.
here.
We're getting there, but we're getting there. But we're going to go to a commercial break. This is going to get interesting. Joseph, did you expect this guy to be here tonight? No, eh? Okay.
I didn't even know who was here.
Okay. Yeah, he has no idea, bro. He's been working in a bakery 40 hours straight. He has no idea what's going on with the real world. All he sees is flowers and frosting.
Sugar.
Yeah, sugar.
Lots of sugar.
Yeah. I worked at a bakery one
Hold
night.
on. Lots of sugar. Sugar Sammy.
Sugar Sammy. Yeah, I worked with that dude. Yeah.
Right, we're going to go to a commercial break, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll be back. Don't go away. We've got Massimo in the house.
I'm here. Hey, what's happening? Yeah? No, I know, eh? It's a lot of men to take in all at once. What's happening? My name is Massimo, and I don't do good with the chicks. I don't do good with the chicks. I don't know what it is with the chicks. Well, obviously it's me. You know what I mean? Like, obviously it's something I'm doing. Like, I'm not one of those idiots that has no clue that like it's him. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not one of those idiots that like goes to a bar with his friends. Like, bro. What kind of bar did you bring me to? All these chicks are not into dudes. You know what I mean? Like, I know it's me. I know it's something I'm doing. I just don't know what it is that I'm doing wrong. Maybe I don't understand chicks, or maybe like I don't know how to approach a chick, or like I don't understand like what a chick wants. Well, maybe one of the problems I have with chicks is I keep on calling them chicks. You know what I mean? I know, ladies are clapping, that's right, I know. Maybe if I stop calling them chicks, I'd pick up more broads. But, you know, who knows with these things? I'm just saying, it's tough. It's tough being a man in the 2000s. It's a book I'm working on. Anyway, and actually, I have to admit, though, it has gotten better for me with the ladies. I mean, when I was in my early 20s, I was horrible with talking to ladies. Did you see? I just said ladies instead of chicks, huh? I know what your is like. And
welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and we're on our second segment with Massimo and our co-host, Joe Ruvo. And as you could see, Massimo is very, very animated tonight, and that's why he comes here, because he's animated. So, Joseph, you wanted to ask our good friend over here something.
Yeah, Massimo. What's up with the Donkey Kong T-shirt?
He's, I don't know, he's cool, bro. It's my spirit animal, Donkey Kong. You know what I mean? He's just very angry and he throws barrels and stuff. No, I don't know. Like I said at the beginning, I dress like a child. I always wear skateboarder shoes, and I shop mostly in skateboard shops. My feet, I've never touched a skateboard in my life. But yeah, I don't want to grow up. I'm going through like a midlife crisis right now. Yeah.
How old are you, 25?
Yeah, 25, bro. Okay. Yeah, that's quarter life crisis. No, I'm 42. I just recently turned 42, like a week ago.
42? You don't look 42.
You know what? I finally look my age, because I've looked like this since I was like 22, 23.
So you look very mature at a very young age.
Like when I was 23,
you
people
look
thought
42.
I was like 35, 36. And people were like, man, you got to take care of yourself.
So now you look your age, right?
Now I look my age, you know?
You just mentioned before in the commercial break, you've lived in Toronto.
Yeah, I lived there for a few years. I just moved back in March.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the take with Toronto? Like, what's happening with the comedy scene right now?
Yeah, there's a good comedy scene there. You know, we also have a good comedy scene here. I just, just came back to Montreal because I like the ladies better here. You know what I mean?
Okay. Is it because they're...
They're what? Is this like a fill in the blank?
Is it because they're...
You know, then so like you say that, and then I fill in the blank, and then I get in trouble. Is that what's happening here?
Well, that's
you know what I mean?
What do you think? That's the way it works.
Yeah, you're just gonna throw it all on me. You know what I mean? It's like it's not me. It's like a ventriloquist act. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, it's not me. It's the guy. It's a little thing here. No, I don't know. I just like Toronto's cool. You know, there's definitely for work. There's a lot of money there if you want to make money, but to enjoy your life, I find Montreal is more chill. It's a cool city.
Great.
You know, you get to enjoy your life. There's not much money happening here. Everything's under
Toronto's
construction.
a very American type city now.
I wouldn't say American type city, but kind of. Sometimes they want to, they always say like, we're like a little New York. And I'm like, you're not even a little bit New York. You're just a Canadian city.
It's a Canadian
with
city,
a lot of buildings.
There you go. Yeah. That's well said. Now,
I usually say things well.
You know what I'd love to hear, and this, I'm not kidding, I'd love to hear you do some comedy in French. With that Italian, English, French accent, with this type of energy, you're flying.
Yeah, I actually just started doing French comedy.
French comedy?
Yeah, when I moved back in March, and I decided, I've always wanted to do it, and I decided to give it a go. And it's going good. Sometimes, I feel like sometimes people are laughing because I'm saying funny things, and then some people are just laughing because I say things funny, because I'm just terrible at speaking French. Sometimes I don't know what word to use. Okay. So I just use words that I think is the right thing. Okay. Like I have a joke where I say like peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And then I'll just say sandwich, beurre, peanut, marmalade, de fries. And that's not how you say it. You know what I mean? For those people who don't speak French, look up with those words. But and then people just laugh because they're like, and then people come up to me and go like, this is the proper way of saying it. I'm like, I'm not gonna say the proper way.
It won't be funny. It won't be funny.
Laugh by saying peanut butter and jelly.
There's no sarcasm in it, right?
Yeah.
Well, why don't we do something? Joe.
Yeah.
Could you imagine building a cake with this guy next to us? Don't you think
terrible.
That would be a great idea?
For a great TV show, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It would also be a terrible cake. I think so. I think it would be a terrible cake.
I don't think so.
Hold on.
You bring some liveliness.
Yeah.
And,
I worked in a bakery just for one night though.
What happened? I gotta hear.
No, I just the guy didn't want to pay me that much, and I was like, because this, you're a baker. I showed up there at like 1 a.m. And we baked bread until like 10 a.m. And I've definitely been out at 1 a.m. and gotten home at 10 a.m. But I was doing things more fun than just baking bread. And then I'm like, it's not enough money for me not to have a life. Like for you, it's different. You own the business. You're working for yourself. But,
it's a challenging
industry, if you work 70, 80 hours a week and you have no life, and then at the end of the week, you get a check for $250. You want to just, throw yourself off a bridge. You know what I'm saying?
I'm pretty lucky. I only work 6 days a week. So
6 days a week. Oh, that's not.
There's a little difference.
Obviously have a life.
There's a little difference, by the way. He works 6 days a week. His paycheck is a little bit bigger than the one that you.
But yeah, of course, he owns the business. You know what I mean? Even me, if I own the business, I'd be like.
Not everybody owns a business and has big paychecks. You understand? So because he is now going to, I think it would be a great idea.
This guy's the cake boss. Bro.
Absolutely.
Obviously, he's going to have a big paycheck.
Buddy
he's the boss of cakes.
Buddy Lastro is in Pennsylvania. Is that where he's at?
No, he's in Hoboken, New Jersey.
Hoboken, New
That's
Jersey.
where he started, but now he's pretty much.
That's Frank Sinatra country right there.
There
know
you
what I mean?
go. There you
Hoboken.
go.
It was from Hoboken. Did you know that, bro?
That's right.
I had no
Yeah,
idea.
that's where Frank Sinatra's from, Hoboken, New
He's
Jersey.
only 33 years old.
I'm
Give him a
42.
break.
I know
Give him
who
a break.
Frank Sinatra is, you know what I mean?
Give him
Bro,
a break.
what kind of Italian are you that you don't know where Frank Sinatra was born?
I know
Seriously.
I know he was big in New York, so it's pretty close. Jersey.
Yeah, Jersey, New York, you know what I
Long
mean?
time,
But I'm just saying, it's terrible.
No,
You know
but
what
let me.
I mean?
How do you think,
I'm
Joe?
just kidding.
I want your take on all of this. Can you imagine we do we build a cake with him as you're the cake artist, and he's going to be the cake designer. One's the artist, one's the designer. What kind of a cake do you think is going to come out of that one?
Well, if I would be making it, it wouldn't be that nice because I'm not that great at the
Artistry.
part. I have a great team at the bakery.
Okay.
7 people that are amazing at it. I haven't done that in a long time, so I don't know how good it would become. But it would be a good laugh. I think you'd fit right in with our team because
Right.
we have
Absolutely.
some,
So you have 7 people that do the design, all that. You just show up and go tap, and that's it,
I'm
right?
pretty much taking care of all the other problems in the place.
Massimo, because we could use the extra carbs and the extra sugar, what do you say maybe we, at one point or another, we get together and we go over and try to build a cake?
Yeah, I'd be into that. You into that? Are you into wasting a bunch of ingredients at your bakery and just
won't go to
build a
waste.
terrible cake? Yeah, I'd be into that. Yeah.
It might not look good, but it'll taste good.
Yeah. I'm probably gonna eat most of the frosting. I'm just gonna eat it right out of the pail. You probably don't have it in pails. You probably have to actually make your own frosting.
Yeah, make your own
Yeah.
frosting.
That would make sense that a bakery would make their own frosting.
I'm
just an idiot. I just think all frosting comes out of a jar.
I have no idea when it comes to.
Neither do I, bro. I know how to eat it.
But,
you know what I'm saying?
but hold on a second. You said you worked for a day, so you do have some experience.
But what
right?
did I learn in a day, bro? I learned that it was terrible. That's what I learned in a day.
Well, let me tell you something. Let me tell you. Massimo, tonight you're here with us, and
Yes.
you have broken the barrier. Tonight, with all the people we've had here, you are the one that has been able to put a certain type of energy, okay, that was good before, but now you just brought it to another level.
Yeah, I'm a pretty fantastic human being, bro.
I'm sure you are.
Yeah.
I think
I'm good at what I do, bro.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you're good. And you know what? We're going to be back, ladies and gentlemen. This is getting interesting. We'll be back after this commercial break. And don't go anywhere. We'll be back. And now this is a commercial segment, and we're going to plug some of our sponsors here. And of course, we have Mercedes-Benz Montréal Est with our good friend, Mr. Phil Salvatore. Once again, Phil, if you have any questions, just give him a shout, go visit him, go have a coffee. They got good espresso out there in Mercedes-Benz Montréal Est. And by the way, the suites are from La Frenais at Mercedes-Benz Montréal Est. Then we have Mega Centre Group, Miss Angela Gentili. 2 words, true professionals, absolutely great people. Then we have Tyron, Mr. Angelo Waragna. He's a true gentleman, true professional. If you're looking for great consultation in terms of building, Mr. Angelo Waragna, he's the man. And then we have Kitchen 73, Mr. Ross Magri. Once again, just walk in, say hello to him. He'll probably offer you something to drink as a first-time customer. True gentleman. Kitchen 73 and RDP. Then we have Mr. Joe Magri from Remax. He's a true connoisseur of the real estate market. True professional, lots of years of experience behind him, and great person to know. And we also have Ticket Assistance, Ms. Sandra Tagliapietra. Once again, if you have any tickets that you haven't paid and you'd like some legal counsel, Ms. Sandra Tagliapietra, she is a lawyer, and Ticket Assistance is the company. And we also have SMI Security Systems. For all your security needs, cameras, alarms, smart home integration, we have a great company that will allow you to integrate your home, make it smart, and will allow you to control everything from the touch of your phone. Great service before, during, and after. And if you're looking for the latest technology with the greatest service in town, SMI Security Systems. So Thank you very much, and we'll be back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we've got a funny man in the house. Joe, what do you think of Massimo, Joe?
He's the life of the party so far.
There you go.
I think this guy's life of the party. You know what I mean?
Both of you, how's that?
Very nice.
Let me ask you something, Massimo. Women love to laugh.
Yes.
So, you know, you're telling me that you're not married, but you're involved, correct?
Yeah. I started seeing a girl. You know what I mean?
You're just seeing her?
Just seeing her.
With your eyes?
I just look at her. I look at her.
Does she look at you?
She doesn't know I'm looking at her. You know what I mean? It's a very weird relationship. I just stand across the street and I see her.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. it's fresh. It's fresh. You don't know.
It's fresh.
You know what I mean?
We don't know what's going to happen,
Yeah,
right?
we don't know what's going to be going on.
And what's your, for example, how long does it have to go before something really starts tingling?
Tingling. Well, it's already started tingling, bro. She's beautiful.
It's tingling.
But okay. You mean as far when when I consider her like my girlfriend?
Well, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you got to be there for a while. You know what I mean? At least you got to be like 6 months in. You know what I mean?
6 months.
6 months in, then that's when you could be like, yeah, this, you know.
Now hold on a second. 6 months. That's a long time.
Yeah, but that's how much time you got to get in before you can like let her know that you're a total disaster of a human being. You know what I mean? That's when it happens. You know what I mean?
So
it's like now we're all the way in. You know what I mean? This is what we're doing. So this first 6 months is just like interview. You know what I mean? Everybody interviews well. You know what I mean? Like you go look for a job. You're like, I'm always on time. I'm the hardest worker. I'm always there first. I leave there last. And then you get the job 2 months in. You know, where's Massimo? You know what I mean? That's pretty much been all of my jobs.
Joe, let me ask you, how long did you go out with your girlfriend before you got serious?
Before I got serious? Well, actually, it's a funny story. I dated her in high school, so it was on and off. So it was a procedure.
It was a procedure.
A procedure. I like that. Even me, I do procedures with women, bro. You know what I'm saying?
But for 6 months.
6 months. That's the first. I have never dated a girl a woman more than like 6 to 8 months, because the first 6 months you date someone the first 6 months, that's like the honeymoon phase. You know what I mean? Okay. So everything that person does is cute, you know? Let's say like if she likes putting margarine and jam on her toast, you're like, oh, that's so cute. Hey, you like putting margarine and jam. Yeah, and you talk you talk to each other like you're little dogs or something. You're like, oh, you like putting jam. You like it salty and sweet, you know, because that's what we are. I'm salty, you're sweet, you know? And then 6 months later, you're sitting at the breakfast table, you're looking at her and you're like, what kind of maniac puts margarine and jam on the same piece of toast? You know, it just, it all fades away. You know, it's just.
That's just the way things happen, I guess, right?
Yeah. 6 months later, you're like, what
am I doing here with this person? Can you imagine a year later?
A year later, I can't imagine because it's never gone past 6 months. I actually dated a girl for 2 months, but we dated for 6 months, then we broke up. Then 6 months later, we got back together. And then 6 months later, then I broke up. And then we kept on and then, it was like 3 installments of 6 months. And then that third installment of 6 months, I'm like, I should have learned my lesson the first time. We're not compatible. This is, she's a maniac.
Massimo, I can't.
Also, I'm a maniac too. I shouldn't say that.
Are you a maniac?
Well, I just, I'm a comedian. I'm a stand-up comic. I travel from town to town. I'm basically a gypsy. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Have you ever dated a comedian? Can you imagine?
I've dated a lot. Yeah, I've actually dated a lot of
comedians.
Yeah, comedians, improvisers. Yeah.
My God, that must be something interesting, eh?
It is. It can be. You know.
Can it get a little bit a little hot there, or
hot? You mean heated with conversation? With
conversation, yeah.
Yeah, because you're dating a person who's
like
really good.
You're trying to outdo each other, right?
I guess I've always just liked it because when I date a woman who's a comic, she gets what I'm doing, she gets that I'm doing this thing, and sometimes it's difficult,
Right.
There's ups and downs in comedy where if I'm dating a woman who's not a comedian and I'm like, I'm just trying to do this thing, trying to make it happen, if I'm talking to a girl who's a comedian, she's like, I get it. You're just following your dreams. But if I'm dating, especially if I date a woman my age, I'm just trying to do this thing. It's like, no, you need to grow up and get a real job because I'm not supporting you. And I'm like, okay, babe, I get it. We're breaking up. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, that's the symptom or the signal of telling you it's time, right?
Yeah, because when you first date a woman who's not a comic, At first, she's gonna be like, "Oh, it's cool. He's a comic, makes people laugh, travels here and there." And then 3-4 months later, like, "Oh, but like this, he's like really poor, you know." And then they're not into it so much. You know what I mean? They're like, "Oh, I make more money than this guy, and unless he like gets a TV show, that's gonna be the entire life." And then it's not so cool to be dating a Johnny Rockstar over here. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know, Massimo, I got to tell you, I love your material. I like your energy.
Do you like my Donkey Kong T-shirt? Bro?
You know, when you
question.
first walked into the studio, and I go, "Oh my God, what do we have over here?" But
Yeah. You look at this mortal of huh?
Who's this guy? Joe, when he walked in, what was your impression when he walked in,
I
Joe?
had no idea who he was. But when I
No,
saw
because
him,
this guy's a nice guy. He's not gonna just judge somebody because of their T-shirt. You know what I'm saying?
I actually said I remember playing Donkey Kong as a kid. So
He was politically correct in saying
No,
something.
it brought
There
back
we go.
memories. He was
There
like,
you go.
that's what I do. I make people feel like children, bro.
Massimo, do you have any upcoming events?
Yeah, actually, this Friday, I don't know when this.
Is this going to air on Thursday at 8 o'clock?
Okay, well, this Friday, which is, what is Friday? March.
September 21st.
September 21st?
Don't
September.
forget, it's my wedding anniversary.
Oh, it's your wedding. Oh, well,
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Congratulations, Joe.
Happy anniversary, bro.
Can't forget that. So.
Yeah.
So, Miss
you can't.
Miss Ruvo, congratulations if you're watching tonight.
Congratulations.
There we go. Fine gentleman over here, top notch.
But yeah, I know it's happening this Friday at the Paradox Theater.
Okay.
And actually, a portion of the money is going towards helping I'm a total idiot, and I forgot the name of the thing, but it goes towards helping the homeless.
Fantastic.
So I forgot the name of the organization, but it does go towards helping homeless people, which is an amazing cause.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a fine, brilliant comedian actor in the name of Massimo.
I like it.
Absolutely spectacular. Massimo, thank you very much for coming.
Oh, thank
you.
you
It was
for
a
having me.
pleasure. And I definitely want to have you back on the show.
Oh, I would definitely love to
And
come
we're
back.
going to go somewhere to La Frenais, and we're going to do a little video clip
And
on
just-
building a cake, and you're going to be next to us putting
Just
it together.
destroying that
Would
cake.
you like
It's gonna
that?
be
What do
ama-
you say?
I think it's amazing to
Joe,
take something
what do you
beautiful
say?
and destroy it.
There we go. We're all in.
1 in the morning.
Oh, nice. 1 in the morning. I'm out, bro. I'm out.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Massimo, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
We're going to a commercial segment, and we'll have our next guest. Thank you. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and this is where we have our commercial segment and our sponsor of the week. And our sponsor of the week, we are honored to have with us Les Délices La Frenais, Mr. Joe Ruvo. Joe, thank you again
No problem, my
for
pleasure.
being part of the Live4Live Entertainment Talk Show sponsorship. I just want to take this moment to tell you guys that La Frenais is a top-notch organization, and thank you for being here with us. Joe, how many years has Les Délices La Frenais been in business now?
Well, it's been since 1979. 2019 is going to be our 40th anniversary, you can say, being in business. We started, my dad, my late grandfather, whom I'm named after, his two brothers, Jerry and Pepe, started in 79 at a typical Italian bakery in St. Leonard on Jean Talon Street.
Now, over the years, your parents, obviously, or the family itself, has worked very hard. Did this bakery or did this art come from Italy? Did they just pick it up when they were here? Is there somebody in the family that brought it over from the old country?
Not really. My grandfather was just your typical immigrant, very hardworking. He was a lumberjack in Switzerland for some time. When he came over, got involved a bit in the bakery business, making bread. And in 1979, they decided to purchase the bakery. And there was really no plan, just always hardworking. And the 1980s, the early 90s were very good years. And then towards the mid-90s, things started to change. So that's when they decided to sell that bakery and go to the location that we're at now, which is was in the industrial park of St. Leonard.
Now, what is the recipe for success of La Frenais?
Like I said, when that happened, that the bakery was closed, that was sold, we went basically to the industrial park with there was no business plan. I was still a kid at the time. We were just doing wholesale business, serving restaurants, reception halls, your odd grocery store. We were about 5 employees. My dad, his 2 brothers, grandpa, grandma, and a cousin or 2.
Okay, so I remember sometime in the 90s, early 90s, we would go to some restaurants in Laval, and I'll never forget, and I saw some exceptional desserts that were completely out of the box. Now, I asked the gentleman, I says, who makes this stuff? And I remember hearing that, we're going back over 20 years ago, and I heard the name Lafrenière. And was the fact that you guys started making desserts very eccentric or out of the box or your typical desserts, was that the success to really make your signature on the market?
Yeah, like I said, everyone knew, seeing that my family's been in St. Leonard for all these years. As you know, St. Leonard's a small city. Community, everyone knows each other. People would occasionally come, knock on the door, and I want this and I want that. And still to this day, I say that's how we built our reputation. We rarely say no to anything. You know, people will come in with anything, any request, and we'll do our best to guarantee it, to do our best to guarantee that it comes out to what the client wants. So we had a lot of requests back then, and our storefront was literally, we didn't even have a storefront. We had a table like this with a little metal box, and people would knock on the door, and my dad would come out and say, hi, how are you, welcome, and take an order or two.
So the people really connected with your dad, and your dad connected with people.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously.
And like I said, it was a family effort. My Uncle Jerry being the cake guru, we like to call him, the mad scientist, that's what I like to refer to him as.
So that it was your uncle, the cake guru is your Uncle Jerry, right?
Yeah.
So he was the one that started designing all these eccentric flavors and cakes and pastries and so forth, right?
Yeah.
Now, would you say that in those days you were one of the pioneers or one of the leaders when it came to that type of market?
I can say we started that trend, and we were the first ones, and we always say till this day, you know, to be able to make this many cakes, we do freeze our cakes. We make thousands of cakes on a weekly basis, but we freeze, you know, there's a constant rotation. That's what allows us to be able to make so many cakes, and we have a constant rotation. We do have our line of fresh cakes as well, but our signature cakes like the Ferrero Rocher, the Frutto di Bosco, that you could find at any of our 6 locations at all times, are always ready because we do freeze them, and we use great ingredients, quality ingredients. We haven't changed. I've been involved now for about 20 years, and I can still say we use the same recipes as 20 years ago.
Fantastic. Now, we are going to run on the board over here some of the different cakes that are gonna, these are eye catchers, and I have here in front of me one cake which is Welcome to Montreal. I believe it was done for the deer hunters. Yeah. And you know, I saw in your email you said it's actually 100% eatable.
Yeah.
So anyway, for you people watching on the screen over here, who actually, because it looks so lifelike, how do you get to do this type of stuff?
Well, it's a lot of time and effort. Like I mentioned already, we have a great team. Right now there's 7 women and men that take care of all the specialty cakes for all 6 locations. They're a great team. They work really hard together. Prep starts every Monday, and we take cake orders on a weekly basis. We rarely say no. We try and do as many as we can, but as you can see, some cakes take a lot of time. So they start preparing on Monday, and the final finishing touches are done on Saturday or Friday before they set.
Well, the second cake left to our screen is the Valentino cake. Now, this was a cake that it's a designer cake for a particular customer, I guess, right?
Exactly.
Absolutely beautiful. Then I've got a cake over here. This is a wedding.
A wedding cake, you can call it.
A wedding cake.
Yeah, classical wedding cake. That I remember the client saying, I want the cake to be 6 feet tall. So
there you go.
That cake was 6 feet tall and mounted on site at a venue in Montreal downtown by 2 of our decorators.
Fantastic. And then we have this cake over here.
Yeah, that's your modern wedding cake. It's a typical trend this season. That was done for actually one of my good friends that got married a couple of weeks ago, and his wife at the time wanted a 6 foot tall cake as well with fresh flowers.
I'll never forget, you made a cake for our good friend Matteo at Cafe Milano.
Yeah.
and you actually had to bring it through the garage door to actually, it was a Christmas party.
Yeah, we started that tradition. It started off as a joke. We were having a coffee at the Cafe Milano, like I always do once or twice a week, and we know that they have their Christmas party on a yearly basis. It's always a good bash, and I mentioned it to Matteo and Marco at the time. I think a cake would be a good
Absolutely.
a good
Well,
idea.
you reproduced the espresso machine that is the iconic cafe espresso machine of Milano's Cafe. When it's been there for the past 40 years, and absolutely very spectacular. Joseph, at this point, you know, Lafreniere is going forwards. You've got 6 multiple locations. Are you guys looking into maybe going across the province or going outside of the province? Any plans for this?
At the moment, we opened 2 stores in the same year, which we never did before, which you know, was a challenge in itself. So at the moment, we're really focusing on
what we have,
trying to perfect it, and offering our customers the best service and the best quality we can. In the future, I'm sure there will be plans. I have a younger cousin that's also involved in the business too. We always keep it in the family. At all 6 locations, there's a family member or someone that we've known for many, many years that's like part of the family.
Fantastic. So. Well, you know, there's this thing about the Cake Boss, and I would like to you know, put a challenge out there to you that we are willing to come and film on location with some of the guests we had here tonight. If you give us the thumbs up, we will make it a reality show, and I'm sure that this will be a very interesting event, and we'll splash it all over the social media. It's your call.
It would definitely be our pleasure to have you and the guests that we had this evening.
Absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Joseph Rouveau from Les Délices Lafreniere, the Rouveau family. A fine gentleman, a great community leader as well. And thank you very much for being with us, Joseph.
Thank you for having me, Charlie.
It's a pleasure. So to all you viewers out there, thank you very much, and we'll be back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Our next guest is a fine gentleman. I've known him several years. We went to school together, and it's a pleasure to have him here tonight. He is now going to have a fundraiser for a great cause. The cause is the Masquerade Ball, No One Fights Alone, on September 28th for all cancers. So I'd like to introduce to you, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Carmelo Tortolano, please. Carmelo, welcome. It's nice to see you. Pleasure is mine. Have a seat. Make yourself comfortable. Carmelo, you have the pleasure of sitting in between one of the funniest men we've had on the show up to now. So that's you were in the audience before, and I saw you giggling.
Yeah,
so
I giggled. I laughed. He's a funny man.
There we go. You may just want to keep that microphone. There
Close
we go.
to me. Okay.
Close to you.
Yeah.
And same thing. You may want to keep that mic. You can have it.
We're sharing a microphone.
There you go. Okay. Carmelo, I just want to give you kudos, thumbs up for this effort. I understand it's your third.
It's our third fundraiser, but it's our second annual for cancer.
For cancer.
We did one in April. It was called Different is Not Broken. Autism Rocks. It was for autism.
Okay.
We raised $11,280 for the Galileo School.
Carmelo, what is it that inspires you to put all this time, effort, because that's very noble of you?
I want to be able to give back to the community as much as I can.
Well, that's very, very, again, Christian-like, of course, and God bless. Now, this particular event that's coming up on September 28th, Carmelo, what is it that you want to tell all the viewers out there? Because this is going to go viral, as you know, and you may want to just give them
well,
your message.
We have a beautiful event set up. It's September 28th at Buffet Amiens. We have some great artists attending the evening. We have Joe Ciccione, who's hosting the event.
Okay.
He's going to be doing comic and MC for the event.
emceeing for the event.
And then we have David Marino, who was on your show,
Absolutely.
I think, last week, if I'm not mistaken.
Absolutely, yes, yes.
He's performing on our show as well. Jazz crooner, young man, very talented. And we also have Daniela Fiorentino.
Yes, yes, I've heard of her. Yes.
Another very talented
Artist. Well, David was with us here 2 weeks ago, 2 episodes.
Okay.
Absolutely talented young man, brilliant. He's, you know, he rocked the house. He did about 5 songs with us, and definitely the audience just loved him. And for everybody out there, David Marino, you know, this is a good cause. There's going to be Joe Cacchione, a brilliant comedian, of course, great MC. So Joe, if you're listening, top notch, kudos. Now, as far as the event is concerned, okay, you want to give some information as far as the event, Carmelo?
Yeah, the price tag for the event is it's $85 a ticket. It includes a hot and cold buffet with 2 bottles of wine on the table. There's also open bar. We have the photo booth, candy station, sweet table, midnight table. The sweet table also is furnished by one of the sponsors here tonight.
Well, there you go. You know, and this was not planned tonight to have one and the other. This just happens like that. And again, kudos to the family, the Lafreniere family. God bless you guys, by the way.
Classic family. They never say no. It's always they're always there to help.
Fantastic.
What a wonderful human being this guy is.
He is, yes, definitely is.
So are you for doing all this. This is amazing.
Well, I don't do it alone. I have a lot of volunteers behind me. I have a lot of people on my committee, a lot of great people.
Take it over.
Take what over?
You've got Carmelo next to you.
You be over his event? This guy knows what he's doing. If I take it over, there's going to be no more money being raised for his charities. Are you kidding me? Have you not understood that I'm just a terrible human being?
We're going to have an issue with that. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, no, I won't know what I'm doing. I'm like, bro, put some chairs, a couple bottles of wine. This guy knows what he's doing.
Carmelo, imagine him being at your event. Can you imagine?
I can imagine. I think possibly we'll have to work together for our autism event next year.
Absolutely, I'm totally there. Yeah.
Well, now this particular event it's at Buffet Amiens, correct?
It's at Buffet Amiens, yeah.
Is it the first time you're doing at Buffet Amiens?
No, we did the autism in April at Buffet Amiens.
Okay. Now, as far as autism is concerned, okay, is there anything? What's in store going in the future as far as any cures, or where are we with autism, Carmelo?
All I can tell you is that it's
a serious
It's a serious thing. It's there's one autistic child born every 60.
Really?
Yeah. So it's,
and is that due to just the environment, or is it? Do they have any scientific data as to where all of this is happening?
I think they do. I would be putting my foot in my mouth if I said something that I you know, but they say it could be in the food, it could be the environment, it could be
whatever.
Lots of
many,
things.
many different
things. Yeah.
Well, I just want to tell everybody out there that next week Carmelo will be back with 2 other gentlemen, because we really want to try to raise as much awareness to the autism. And this is our first interview with Carmelo, and I'd love to have you back next week again.
It would be a
with
pleasure
your
coming
colleagues,
back. Yes,
of course. And if they have any more anything else that they want to add to the cause, absolutely. So we want to get you guys as much exposure as possible for a great cause. So I just want to commend you, Carmelo.
I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming. Is there anything particular you want to tell the audience right now?
Well, there's still plenty of tickets left, so just you can call us on our access number, which is 514-322-1030, and you have 4 different extensions, and you could just...
Fantastic. So to everybody out there, we will definitely have them back next week, and we'll have a lot more information that we'll probably be posting on our Facebook page and Carmelo's social media platform. So thank you very much. Carmelo, thank you for coming. It was a pleasure having you.
It was a pleasure being here.
And we have 2 more guests. If you'd like to stick around, our couch is not big enough, but we're gonna.
I will sit on the floor.
but we will definitely have you back next week. So
Your
we'll be
pleasure.
back. Jesse, take it away to the next commercial break. Welcome to all our viewers around the world. I'm Charles Sciangula. I'm the host for the Live4Live Entertainment Talk Show. And tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a special guest. We have a young lady in the house. She is a brilliant singer, a great performer, and she's starting off her career. And tonight, she's with us here in the studio. And ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to the world Miss December Rose. Welcome, welcome, welcome. There we go. You can take that microphone. Just do a little sound check.
Check, check.
Check,
One,
check.
two.
All right. Jesse gives a
Awesome.
thumbs up. All right. I'm glad. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
You got lost from what I understand.
did.
You actually almost interrupted a mass. I understand. That's okay.
True.
All right. That's divine intervention. Okay, Rosemary. Okay. But it's all good. It's all good. Rosemary, I want to welcome you to our show.
Thank you.
This is our 8th episode, and we've had a few singers, males and females. And as a matter of fact, you're the first female singer that we've had on the show. So you are the first female singer on the show.
Oh, it was a first for everything. So.
There you go. There you go.
Cool.
When you said you had male, because you said we've had male and female singers on the
Yep.
show, and then you said, but you're the first female. So you've
Well-
just had males.
Well, listen.
Now males and females.
Now it's
now
a
that she's
female.
here.
Now
Yeah, yeah.
that's a female. We have, by the way, I just want to introduce you to Massimo and Joe.
Hi again.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi again.
That's Joe from
Might as well do another
La
handshake
Frenais.
while we're at it.
That's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
one and only Massimo. Believe me, we're gonna have him back on the show over here.
And
Okay.
this is the cake boss.
And that's
The
the
cake
cake
boss.
boss over here. The States have Barry Volasho. We've got Joe Ruvo and the La Frenais family. There we go. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Rosemary. I understand you did Super Fantastico. Can you give us a little bit of an overview of what you're all about?
Yeah, for sure. So, well, I'm December Rose. I'm a singer-songwriter from Montreal. I got signed to a record company in 2012, and it wasn't really until 2017 with Super Fantastico that I started getting a lot of opportunity in Montreal and a lot of support from Montreal. So I guess the two in conjunction really helped to get things kicked off. The record company supporting original material, and then Super Fantastico really supporting a lot of the Montreal performances and opportunities and things. So, so it's been a really good year actually since Super Fantastico. And so now what do I do? Well, I'm all involved in the music scene. So I teach, I write, I record, I do original material, and alongside I finished studying naturopathy so I could stay healthy while doing music. And that's, I guess, me in a nutshell.
You're not perfect.
Not at all. Not at all.
What's Super Fantastico?
It's an Italian, local Italian singing contest hosted by CFMB Radio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And it's Super and Fantastico, I assume.
Super and Fantastico.
Nice. Nice.
Now, at the show, did you? What position did you come in? How does it work? Did you have judges, and you came in first, second, third, or?
Yeah, so the year that I did it, which was 2017, they changed the system a little bit. It wasn't really first, second, third. They split the categories in children's categories and an adult category. And so I was in the adult category, which is less, and so there's just one winner instead of 3 finalists, basically. We're like 5 or 6 finalists and then 1 winner. And so I was very lucky that year, and I got the first place or winning prize, and the prize was actually a trip to Italy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that was way cool because I'd never been to Italy.
Oh, nice.
So that was something.
Ask Massimo if he's ever been to Italy. Have you been to
I
Italy?
have. Yeah. When I was like 22.
They let you
So
in?
like 20 years. Yeah, they let me in. They let me in. You know what I mean? I have an Italian name. Canadian passport. As long as they have a Canadian passport, they just
It's
go
true.
on. Yeah,
they
don't
love
care.
Canadians, man.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
But are you from Montreal or Toronto?
In Montreal.
Oh, Montreal.
Yeah, I'm a
Okay.
homegirl here. Yeah.
Okay, great. And do you sing you sing English, French, Italian, I guess?
Yeah, and some Spanish.
Fantastic.
In school, I learned German and Latin, but I don't really use those a lot.
Okay.
So.
And
Yeah, Latin's kind of a dead language
Yeah,
now, right? No one's
no.
really doing the Latin anymore.
well, do you
Yeah,
do any
no.
church gospel maybe? Latin?
Yeah.
Panangelico and
Yeah.
stuff? You do that?
Yeah.
Huh? Do you know what Panangelico is, Massimo?
Panangelico. It sounds like something you eat. Some sort of some bread thing with some jam or something. Panangelico.
We had
Oh, the jello, the yellow stuff. The yellow Italian booze.
last week,
You put it
Perry.
on the bread. Panangelico.
Last week, Perry Canestrari was here, and I asked him. I says, he sings in churches, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he says, yeah. He goes, we have the two favorite songs, Ave Maria and Panangelico. I says, Pane what? And Panangelico. So there you go.
So you didn't know until
I
like
didn't
a
know
couple
either.
weeks ago.
When he said Panangelico, I thought he was kidding, but in
Yeah, yeah.
fact, it's
Somebody
a
says
it's a
Panangelico.
Right, no.
it's
like
a beautiful song. It's
Yeah.
a beautiful, church choir song for sure. Do you do any choir? Do you do any gospel? Do you do any?
I used to do a lot of choir as a kid. That was kind of where I think that's kind of where I fell in love with it.
Oh.
I started off in church choir as I was a kid, going to church with my grandma. And from there, I started taking singing lessons and really taking it seriously. And so now that's been my life.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
What are your aspirations or expectations now at this point? How old are you now?
25.
25. Where do you want to be in 10 years from now?
Oh, man. If you even asked me 10 years ago what I had said, I don't think that I got what I wanted. I got it in a different capacity. So it's really hard to answer that question. In 10 years from now, man, I would like to go on a world tour, had a couple of hits, and open an entertainment school,
Right.
educate the youth in health and in music and the actual purpose of music, not to hit any specific numbers, but just what it can do for you. So
Now, you actually write music?
I do.
Okay, so most of the songs that you sing, are they written by yourself?
Yes, or co-written with
Or
other
co-written
people.
with
Yeah.
somebody else? Okay. Now, is there anything in particular, for example, who do you idolize? What's your signature song? What is your signature energy?
Interesting. So
You mentioned it to me before,
I did.
and I can't pronounce the name, so I'll let you pronounce
Okay,
it.
all
Maybe
right.
Massimo, maybe Massimo will be able to do it.
Okay, so I guess what the sound I'm going for now in the new music I'm about to release is a cross of Gavin DeGraw meets Adele meets One Republic. A lot of the stuff that people will find online now that I've released in the past, I guess was a way of me discovering myself as any young artist would be. It started off very commercial, then it went indie and a little pop rock, and so I think now this new content I'm releasing, it was finally a way of me really putting my signature and my signing off on it. Like, this is something I wrote, and I'm excited
Fantastic.
to put this out to the world because it's fresh, it's new, and I worked endlessly this year to get it all done, and it's something that's very current in my life. And I think this is finally, I can say this is me. So this sound, I'm excited to.
I noticed when you were
That's amazing.
talking.
I feel like my stand-up comedy is a cross between Kevin McGraw and Adele.
Gavin DeGraw.
Oh, is it DeGraw?
Hold on.
But McGraw is what I'm more of a fan of.
When you were talking about that crossover, Joe could identify. He's 33. Him, he may or may not. I have no
Bro, I
idea
know
who you're
who
talking
Adele is,
about.
bro.
I know
own all her
Adele.
albums.
Yeah,
I
I'm
turn
sure.
it on and I sit at home in the dark and I cry.
And you cry?
Yeah, I cry because of all the lost love, you know?
No.
Are you all alone when you're crying?
Of course I'm alone.
Oh,
I'm a
okay.
man, bro. I have to
Yeah.
cry alone.
You can't cry in front of a woman.
I don't think,
It
if
doesn't
you're
look
over
good.
the age
Does-
of 15, I don't think you should cry in public.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Once you turn 15, if you have to cry, you have to go home.
What did
in
your
room.
father? If you ever started crying, what would your dad do to you?
He would make me cry more, I think.
You give
Yeah,
you a
yeah.
shot in the head, right?
That's so cruel.
I was born in 1976, you know what I mean? Like, if you cry, they're like, I'll give you something to cry about. You know?
They give you the butter with the wooden
yeah.
spoon.
Now, what are you? Is there anything in coming soon? Because that we were discussing in our telephone conversation that you are going to be coming up with something, right?
Yeah.
And we are definitely going to have you back when your new material comes back. You promise us?
I promise.
Absolutely. And we're going to make sure that Massimo and Joe are here at the same time.
Awesome.
How's that?
Perfect.
There we go. You like that?
I love it.
All right. We got a plan. So what are you preparing now? What's coming through?
All right, so now that I have a slew of singles releases coming up, I'm going to be starting releases in October. I can't give a definite date just yet, but they should keep their eyes peeled on social media, on my Facebook page, website, and the whole thing, December Rose Music. And I'll be posting the dates as it rolls in closer.
Fantastic. So this is what we'll do. This is a very interesting. Massimo, you're staying. Joe, you're staying. We're going to go to a commercial break, and we'll be back. Josie, take it away.
The Live4Live Entertainment Talk Show is brought to you by the following sponsors: Mercedes-Benz Montréal-Est, Méga Centre Groupe, Les Délices Lafrenaye, Assistance Ticket, Tyron Renovations, Kitchen 73 RDP, Remax Real Estate Joe Magri, and SME Sécurité.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Charles Sciangula for the Live4Live Entertainment Talk Show, and tonight we've got Mr. Frank Vaccaro, Dragonflow, with us tonight, and he was with us 3 weeks ago, and everybody on social media saw his picture, and they all commented on the physical shape that he had, and they thought his interview very interesting, so we brought him back for tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce to you Mr. Dragonflow Frank Vaccaro. Welcome back, Frank. That was a quick return. Have a seat. How you doing, Frank?
I'm doing good, and you, Charlie?
Very well, thank you. You know, Frank, we're privileged tonight because it's the first show we actually have 4 guests sitting one next to each other, because we actually timed it, and it's not that we had to plan it, it just happened that way.
And it's amazing because all your guests seem to have a very different dynamic.
Absolutely. And tonight we had Massimo, we have Joe, we have the lovely December Rose, and now we have the guru himself, Frank Vaccaro. Frank, you know, since the last time we met, I just want to give you kudos, thumbs up on, we had some great interaction with some of the stuff that you were talking about, as spiritually speaking. And I want to ask you, I noticed in one of your YouTube videos that you sent to us, you actually do a handstand freestyle. How long did it take you to actually do something like that? What kind of practice? What do you do to prepare all of this stuff?
Well, when I started my teacher training, there was this guy Xavier, and he was practicing handstands all the time. So I was like, I want to practice handstands too. I already could do some with the wall, which is to say, like, I would just jump up on the wall and I would kick up and stay there. But then there's something called like a press-up handstand, where you have to control, like you push your hands down and you gently lift your legs. And for that, because I have chronic neck pains, I don't practice handstands anymore. What I do is I try and practice this kind of toe-to-hand connection, which I do with a lot of leg raises, leg raise pull-ups, knee tucks, just a lot of core stuff that connects the whole lower body to the upper body. And I've noticed even if I do handstands like once a month, that improves my handstand.
Fantastic.
But it would normally, it would take somebody a good 6 months to a year of regular practice. But regular practice, we're talking like 5 minutes a day.
Okay, so now if me and Massimo show up and we want to take yoga.
Yeah.
Okay. Joe, you're in shape. We won't even go there. When you see Joe, Massimo and I we walk in and we say, we want to do yoga. What are you going to do to us?
I've actually done yoga for months.
Me too.
No, I'm being serious. Like, and I actually did it. Like, yoga's like.
I'm serious. I'm serious.
Yeah.
I did yoga. Yeah, I've done yoga.
Okay. I did. You, but we're
I did.
say that, yeah,
what, the dragonfly, the movement. What's it called?
You know what the dragonfly movement is?
Whatever.
You're suspended backwards. Bruce Lee used to do it. If you guys look at it, like you hold a bar, and your legs are coming down and up, and your body's straight like a fly, like a flag. One day I'll show you, but I would need something to support me. So what would I make you do? We would start with standing poses, because that wouldn't be too stressful on your lower back.
Right.
standing poses, a lot of breathing exercises, a lot of meditation exercises. We would basically do some stuff just to ground you and make your legs strong. And maybe I'd also ask you what your, if you have injuries. Some people come with special needs. So let's say if you have back injuries, there's certain things we could avoid, things we could do to improve your back. You have shoulder injuries, things we could avoid, things we could do to fix your shoulder. So it's
Massimo,
really...
do we have any injuries?
Do I have injuries? Yeah, a lot. Yeah, I drink a lot and I fall down a lot. So I have many, many injuries. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Joe, any injuries?
No.
No? Have you ever tried yoga?
No, I haven't. I've never tried
Okay.
it.
Would you like to try?
Definitely. It would be, interesting.
You got 1, 2, 3. Well, you're a naturopath, right? I'm sure you have that spiritual thing in you. You like to kind of do a little bit of those stretches and stuff like that.
I do, but I'm gonna have a buzzkill moment here for a second. I actually don't like yoga.
Oh,
I'm one of those.
okay. You
those
just burst
strange
everybody's bubble.
Yes, and not because of what it is. I just for myself personally found it boring.
Oh.
Maybe it was the instructor I had at the time. Could have been. But I would prefer more like an exercise, like lifting a weight
More
or
athletic
Zumba,
and
like,
so Zumba and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for me, I found myself getting stressed in yoga rather than decompressing. But,
So if, as a female, you would prefer athleticism as opposed to yoga. That's basically what you're saying.
I'm really the odd one out though. So
yeah, because most women, I think it's the first time I've ever heard that. So Frank, I think you're the only male yoga instructor in the East End that I know of.
There's some others that teach in the East End, but I don't think they're necessarily from, let's say, Saint Leonard or Ipiaranjo.
Okay.
I know there's one guy, I don't know his last name, his name is Guillermo. He teaches in Laval mainly.
Okay.
Laval wouldn't necessarily be considered East End, is it? No. No.
Not really, no.
Not really. So he comes down to the East End to teach.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I'm one of the only.
So let me ask you, what do you do, for example, how did you get into it? How did it all start with you?
I basically was on chômage for 8 months when I was about 28. I was just kind of floating around. I really couldn't hold a job. I was kind of discouraged myself, but I would get like madly depressed at work, and I would just like be like, screw this, you know. And I had this job at Expectations. At first I worked at the Expectations downtown, and you make really good money there, but you slave. Like, I felt my lungs were heavy and I was gonna collapse, and when I used to get home I wouldn't have free time. I would just like want to die. Okay. So then they moved me to the Expectations at the Old Port, which was easier. It was more manageable, but my boss was this emotional sociopath drama queen that just he created so many problems for everybody. By Christmas time roll around, he fired half of us. I was just like, okay, this is good. I don't want to be here anyways. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna stop lying to myself, and I'm gonna give fitness the fair shake that it deserved. Because the problem was with me was insecurity. When you're insecure, you end up taking the longest path to the thing you want to do. Mm-hmm. So you're just like, this is what I want to do, and then you put an obstacle, and then you put a streetway, and then you put a chasm, and then the next thing you know, you wasted 5 years. So I was just like, I'm not gonna waste time anymore. So I just picked a yoga school. By coincidence, it turned out that one of the teacher at the yoga school was one of the 2 best yoga teachers in Montreal. His name's Mark Darby, as I mentioned last time. And I just really went all the way with it. I didn't think of money. I didn't think if I was gonna make money. I didn't care. I woke up every morning. There's a lot of scenarios where I woke up at, like, no joke, 5:30 in the morning to go train, which this guy doesn't care because they wake up at about 2:30 in the morning to make bread. But I really felt that was like it was like my manifest destiny that I had to do that. Okay. And right before I finished, I used to work at LDV, yeah? So right before I finished, in that period, LDV was building a hot yoga studio. In that very same period, on Jerry, next to La Frenette, they were building Yoga Lounge. And so the year I finished my teacher training, yoga in St. Leonard went from like 2 or 3 classes at LDV to like 15, 20 classes at LDV. Then United Gym got in on it, and now like I think there's 5, 6, 7 classes of yoga at United Gym. There's like 5, 6, 7 classes at Med Gym. So in fact, it went from LDV having yoga with like one or two instructors and maybe like 2 or 3 classes, no more. And this is in like all of St. Leonard. I'd have to say between all the yoga studios and gyms in St. Leonard right now, there's probably like 90 to 100 classes rolling.
That's great.
A yoga class. I mean, not all given by me, of course, because I would be dying, but it's just that year was coincidentally a very a big turning point for yoga in the East End, and I just slipped into the door.
Fantastic. So now the yoga being what it is, do you see yoga becoming a little more mainstream as opposed to a niche type of form of exercise?
I believe it is already mainstream.
Mainstream.
And it's going to become more mainstream. But here's the thing, it's not because
What's the age group? What's the age group that
depends where you work. It depends where you work. When I work at a yoga lounge, it's anywhere between very late teens to early 40s.
Okay.
Catch some 50-year-olds. You even catch some 60-year-olds if like they do the more calming, restorative yoga.
Right.
But it could, depending on the teacher, the age group varies quite a bit. At the gym, I noticed a lot tends to be older women doing yoga, and a lot of when I was teaching, because it was the guys who were comfortable with it, so there's a lot of older guys just to slide into the door. I remember one time after a year of teaching, I was like, some of my classes had like 50% guys, 50% girls, like on 15, 20 people, so it was pretty cool.
Fantastic. I notice I've seen you riding your bike from point A to point B. Do you have a car, or do you actually...
I had my license when I was 20, and then I never drove. And actually, one winter, I literally rode my bike the whole winter. I don't know, that's one thing I don't see myself driving. Don't ask me why.
So if you actually ride to work, or do you take a bus with the bike? What do you do?
There is one winter 2 years ago that I biked everywhere. I really biked everywhere. And there was through snowstorms even. And I remember like Wednesdays used to be my busiest day for some reason, like for 6 weeks. There was a freaking snowstorm on every single Wednesday. I was freaking the hell out.
There you go.
But I did it. But the year after, I was like, I can't do this anymore. So what I would do is I would park my bike at the closest bus stop, and then I would bus it to work. And now even less, I bus it to work. But I'm older. I mean, when I started doing this, I was 29. Now I'm gonna be 37.
There you go.
And I still have a lot of energy. Just don't feel.
Well, Frank, the reason why we had you back is because a lot of people were inquiring about you, obviously.
Thank you.
So to all the viewers out there, we have him back. And the other reason why we have him back, because you're going to bring some female yoga students or instructors, correct?
I'm actually looking into bringing my one of my bosses here.
Fantastic.
So
absolutely. And whenever we do confirm it, obviously we'll let you know.
If you're into it, we should actually do like a mini 5-10 minute yoga segment, and you could practice with us.
If Massimo comes, I will participate.
I will definitely.
Since you practiced
I will
already.
definitely be there if you're the person doing the yoga.
Yes. Yes.
We're
I will not want to miss that. I want to see that live.
Massimo.
I don't want to wait for that episode to come out.
We got to wear our tights, though, right? Is that we got to wear tights for this?
Yeah. I got some Lululemons at home. You know what I mean? I can slap those on.
Okay, so
we could make a comedy thing out of it.
Well, listen. You know, I love the yoga thing. I'm not going to say no to you. I've done it on occasions. I think it's a great, sport, if you want to call it a sport.
It's not. But
what do you call it? What do you want to call it?
Like a meditation.
It's a meditation,
yeah.
or has it become a sport, or what do you meditate? You do yoga?
Well, here's the thing, okay? I don't want to become like all yoga arrogant about it. It's like, no, it's not a sport because it's spiritual, and we don't do that. It's like, in a way, it's like a lunge is a lunge, a squat is a squat, a plank is a plank.
There you go. There you go, Massimo.
So no, but but hold on.
Squats?
No, but he's got the right attitude about it, because there is a spiritual element that you don't necessarily
absolutely, yeah, sure.
that they don't necessarily discuss.
Well, when we lift weights, it's spiritual too, and you go.
It is though. No, but it is. No, but it is. I'm gonna tell you something, okay? I had a drum teacher. His name is Massimo Sansalon. This guy was one of the best teachers I ever had, okay? And
I used to teach drums, by the way. No, my name's Massimo. It's just a. Don't mind me. Just
no,
doing
it's
that
okay.
smooth thing that you're doing right now.
So he had this trick with a metronome, yeah, where he would normally you want to speed it up because you want to be super fast. I'm super fast. I'm really good. Yeah. He goes, so Frankie, he used to call me Frankie because he used to know me when I was a kid. He goes, we're going to really slow it down. And so you put the metronome at 40 whole notes. So I think you hear the metronome like 10 times in a minute. Okay. And it's just going tick, tick. So I used to think meditation was, you know, you're in an orange robe and you have this really long beard and you have like these kind of lines on your head and you kind of talk like this, you know, you come from India. And it's just like, this was a meditation. So actually everything is a meditation if you make it a meditation. The thing is, here's the difference. When you're doing weights, no one tells you approach it from a meditative way, you know? Correct. And when you're playing football, of course it's a meditation. A guy who's a really good football player, like he's so zoned in, he knows, like he's there, man. He's like living the moment. It's a meditation. But in yoga, you're definitely gonna know that it's a meditation because we're telling you all the time, and it is. But life is a meditation. See what I mean? You could wake up and just be like, put on your stuff and just like, how did my clothes get on there? Because you're not paying attention.
Living the moment, basically.
Yeah, I found like when I was, I did yoga for like a few months, and then then I just stopped going, just got busy with other things or what have you. But I noticed that like when I would go to the gym and work out and do weights,
you're more
like,
mindful.
You're burning stress, you are relieving stress. Yeah. But the difference with yoga is like you're releasing that stress, but you're also calming your mind. So there's the physical and the mental. Yeah. Whereas with doing weights or what have you, you're just working out just your body and releasing stress in your body. But here's you release it through your mind as well.
Here's the funny thing, and he's right. But after doing yoga for a long time, I would go into the gym and I would start synchronizing my breath to the lift, right? Right. So it's just like sometimes you go to the gym and you become very vain and you're in the mirror. And it's just like, but by the end of 6 months, your shoulders are rounded and you have these really big arms and like whatever. Anyways,
that's not a natural progression, right?
Whatever it is for them, and whatever gets you in the gym. Okay. But you can use yoga in a weightlifting scenario, right? Because look, normally what you want to do is you inhale on the eccentric movement, which is when you're not forcing. Right. And exhale on the force, on the eccentric movement, right? So you can literally take a weight that you're comfortable with and be like bicep curl. So inhale, exhale, inhale. Same thing with your chest press, right? So like your inhale, exhale. Now this type of breathing is meditative, but it's also cool because once
I'm feeling better already, Frank.
There you go. Absolutely. Once you're getting to a weight that you feel that you can't push, right? You haven't lost your breath, right? Because if I'm not breathing properly and the weight's heavy and now I'm stuck because I don't have an exhale because I haven't been breathing, right? Versus I'm breathing and I'm on my last rep, like 6, 10, 12 reps, whatever. So now I have my exhale, which is like, it's kind of, and it's not a joke. It's Lamaze. Women don't feel as hurt when they're push. Versus, I haven't been breathing for 7 reps, and now I'm trying to get the last rep in, and it's not happening, right? So you can take your yoga into a gym setting and turn weightlifting into a meditation also. And you will become a better weightlifter. You will become more relaxed.
I'm super relaxed.
You look it.
Yeah. I'm relaxed when I am. I guess,
But I agree with you that in a yoga scenario, because we talk about spirituality and breath and meditation and all that stuff, we're talking. It's happening, right? In a gym scenario, it could happen, but it's not happening because nobody's talking about these little subtleties that you can add to your training.
I also noticed when I was doing yoga because for about 3 months I was going almost every day, and I noticed that once I really got into it, like little things didn't bother me anymore. The little things you would stress out, I'm just like,
like picking up chicks and broads.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm lonely.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna finish this segment, and I want to thank everybody who's on the couch, and I think it was an excellent, interesting show we had tonight. Different people with different thoughts and ideas, and we'll be back.